This is a fake one-sided rivalry. We got Angel Reese taking more shots at Caitlin Clark unnecessarily. You in Indiana having a great time partying. We see all the clips. Why can't you just do your thing? Why can't you just do your thing?
Witness the exact moment Angel Reese's marketing empire collapsed on live display. Picture this, All-Star Weekend, bright lights, all eyes on Indianapolis. Reese drops her signature shoe campaign like a queen, claiming that thrown billboards, promos, the whole city painted in Reebok red. But then boom, Caitlin Clark goes down with an injury. Ticket prices nosedive 48%. The energy gone suddenly. Reese's spotlight grab feels hollow, like she's putting on a show in an empty theater. The numbers tell the truth. No Clark, no buzz, and Reese left trying to turn whispers into applause. We're unpacking a moment from that weekend, and trust me, it gets brutal. Drop Baby Giraffe in the comments if you're ready to roast this misstep. Let's break it down.
But can Sarah Spain and the media stop going out there and saying that like the Caitlin Clark needs to do something to stop all this, when it is very clear this is a one-sided beef, and the one-sided beef is not from Caitlin Clark?
Weekend was supposed to be the breakthrough moment when women's basketball finally kicked down the door of mainstream sports. The plan: Clark versus Reese in Indianapolis. Sold-out arenas, deafening roars, viewership numbers that force ESPN to stop pretending and start respecting. The entire setup read like a blockbuster movie script to rising titans, one stage, and the world watching. But that dream, it crumbled before the opening scene.
We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans, but you know that if there was any way that she could be out.
Then came the blow that shattered at Al Clark's groin injury announced days before tip-off, and just like that, the foundation cracked. Fans had mapped this out for months. They weren't going to Indianapolis for a vacation, they were going for Caitlin Clark, on home soil, in her moment. Flights, booked hotels, sold-out restaurants, fully staffed for March Madness-sized crowds. Brands had already gone Elin. Nike was ready to roll out exclusives. ESPN was hyping it like a Super Bowl. Social media, frenzy of countdowns and heated debates over who'd owned the court. But one injury shifted everything.
Story we have been following throughout the past 2 days surrounds the superstar herself, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA star, the Indiana Fever star, Caitlin Clark. She's going to miss all the action on the court.
Roots were supposed to ignite a firestorm of local pride. Gainbridge Fieldhouse was primed to become a fortress of cheers, a living tribute to a hometown hero rising on the biggest WNBA stage yet. But when news of her injury broke across the internet like wildfire, the energy deflated. Suddenly, all that corporate hype, all those ticket promos and storylines, they vanished. What was left behind? Vacuum. You could almost hear the silence.
Caitlin Clark gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't gonna pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that their sport's growing. People aren't paying up for that. And we are here, right here. The tickets for this game, for this All-Star Game, they've dropped by 50%.
It wasn't some random sprain on some random player. Caitlin Clark is the reason people care. She brought millions of new eyes to the WNBA. She turned skeptics into superfans and gave casual sports watchers a reason to tune in. Her absence wasn't just a loss, it was a collapse. The weekend meant to celebrate women's basketball became a brutal reality check. The entire House of Cards fans, sponsors, momentum was built on Clark's presence. When she couldn't show, the whole thing teetered, and it exposed a hard truth. The league's growth is riding on one star's shoulders.
When it comes to the vendors in the arena, the shops in the arena, they're not going to have the same amount of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was there. The surrounding restaurants, the surrounding areas, the surrounding attractions, they're not going to have the same number of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was healthy.
Of being a celebration of unity and growth, the weekend became a glaring reminder of how far the WNBA still has to go. While Clark nursed a very real injury, fans mourned the chance to see her shine. But in that silence, someone else stepped into the spotlight, and not with grace, with strategy.
Reebok, Angel Reese are taking shots at Caitlin Clark, using her as promo. Angel Reese, let's be clear here. Let's just be all the way clear here. Angel Reese is a solid basketball player. Angel Reese 100% has benefited from attaching herself to Caitlin Clark at every single turn. Her podcast, the first 3 episodes, all the clips promoting was bringing up Caitlin Clark. It was bringing up Caitlin Clark and all of the promo. People wanted to know what she was going to say. She used Caitlin Clark as promo.
Imagine this. Your biggest rival is sidelined in her own city, and you roll up, cameras flashing, shouting, "I'm in your city." That's exactly what Angel Reese did. She launched her Reebok signature shoe in Indianapolis, Clark's hometown, blasting billboards, flooding social media, and turning the whole thing into a territorial ambush. With her rival injured and absent, Reese didn't just show up, she declared war.
Angel Reese, I'm in your city. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. Post it on Instagram. There's about 15 fans there and Reebok put up a board. You would expect Reebok to put up a board. Let's never forget that when let's never forget the gigantic Caitlin Clark Nike billboard in Chicago. Let's never forget that. So if Reebok didn't put up a board for Angel Reese,
it was brutal and maybe genius, depending on your angle. Reese's campaign was sculpted to make noise, specifically in Indy, where she knew Clark reigned supreme. This wasn't just a shoe drop, it was a power player message. She wasn't just introducing Reebok's latest, she was planting a flag on what should have been enemy soil.
You continue to take shots at her, and then when them shots get fired back, nobody likes it. We don't have no videos of Caitlin Clark really taking shots at Angel Reese. Look at what Angel Reese and Reebok are doing for views. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. This is promo they're doing in Indianapolis, where Caitlin Clark plays. That is a clear shot. It's a clear shot. Like I said, this is a fake rivalry. I think you've won 1 game versus Caitlin Clark. You've never won in Indiana at all. It's just like you continue to attach yourself to her at every turn of users.
Let's call it what it was. Angel Reese posted "Walk in your trap, take over your trap" all over social media, blaring Bankroll Fresh's anthem over her Instagram story. And with Clark out injured, unable to respond, it felt less like a flex and more like a victory lap in a one-horse race. Fans online weren't buying the hype. Many called it disrespectful. Some clapped for the boldness, but most questioned the intent. Why go this hard now? Why try to dominate when your biggest rival can't even play? From snarky memes to serious backlash, the internet lit up, and Reese was right in the firestorm.
Caitlin Clark has never said a negative word about Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark has never said a negative word, or to be honest, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, she did show it by her actions. She didn't need to say, "I'm taking over Chicago." She did, however, go and put up 31 and 12, set a career high with 12 assists, be the only player in the history of the WNBA ever to have 31 and 12 in a game. She did, in fact, do that and then try to hype up the Chicago crowd. So it's fair enough. You want to say, "Oh, Caitlin Clark did this," then show it with your actions. Go and win MVP. Don't just be like, "This is my city." Don't just come in and be like, "This is my city." You've never won a game. Has she won a game in Indiana? I don't think she's ever won a game in Indiana. I actually do not think she has won a pro game in Indiana.
Here's where the drama takes a sharp turn. Instead of pivoting when Caitlin Clark's injury became official, Angel Reese doubled down. While the rest of the league showed grace, softening their tone out of respect for Clark's absence, Reese hit the gas hard. Her campaign rolled on like nothing had changed, as if Clark's silence made it easier to dominate the spotlight. It was jarring. While other All-Stars focused on unity and growth, Reese leaned into the rivalry with someone who couldn't even step on the court. One media breakdown admitted Reese's team nailed the marketing game. They weren't after applause, they were after attention, even if it came in booze.
Now with Reebok she's using, this is non-stop. She has attached herself to Caitlin Clark at every single turn, and she has benefited. Let's be clear here. Yes, she does receive backlash. She does receive negativity, but she has benefited greatly. She has made millions of dollars off of attaching herself to Caitlin Clark and using her to make her brand bigger.
It was intended to be bold branding, quickly felt like a hollow victory lap. You can't take over someone's city while they're stuck on the sideline. That's not a performance, a stunt. One analyst even called it a one-sided rivalry, and that phrase stuck. Reese kept swinging. But the only opponent in sight was the empty court. Clark wasn't there to answer back. She was busy battling a real injury, and the proof that Reese miscalculated. It was cold, brutal, and stamped in hard data.
This is absolutely a one-sided rivalry. And we've got to say it like it is. Like, we can't say Caitlyn needs to do this, Caitlyn needs to do that. Let's be real. The only reason this is still a rivalry is because the other side of the rivalry won't stop it. And by the way, it is extremely beneficial for Angel Reese to be in this rivalry.
Caitlyn Clark's true value to the WNBA. Just follow the money. The moment her injury was announced, ticket prices for All-Star Weekend plummeted from $121 to just $64. That's a 48% drop overnight. Not a slight dip, a collapse. Before Clark's injury, TickPick data projected this to be the most expensive All-Star game in league history, averaging $262 per seat. But the moment she was ruled out, that demand vanished faster than Angel Reese's goodwill. The numbers made one thing clear: without Clark, the product breaks.
The ticket prices, the demand fell off a cliff. And it's not just the on-court product that suffers without number 22, Caitlyn Clark. The entire weekend's economic opportunities have felt the fallout. This was conveyed with a July 18th post from NBA Central that wrote, quote, "The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48%, from $121 a ticket to $64 a ticket after the news broke that Caitlyn Clark won't be playing." I mean, the tickets lost 50% of its value. These numbers are confirmed by TickPick's website, currently having the All-Star Game's get-in price at $64. And a July 16th article from Front Office Sports, which was posted before Clark announced she'd be sitting out, was $121.
This isn't just about one weekend. Clark's effect echoes through every major matchup. When she missed games in May due to a quad strain, resale ticket prices crashed 247% down for the Washington game, 71% for Chicago. That's not normal athlete impact, that's superstar economics. Sponsors scrambled. TV networks had to revise their coverage. Premium WNBA packages were already sold out in anticipation. And the moment Clark dropped out, the entire infrastructure built around her started wobbling. That's how deep her influence runs.
From $121 all the way down to just $64 after news broke that Caitlyn Clark won't be playing. These are people saying, I'm done. I don't want to watch. Caitlyn Clark's not. I bought tickets solely to watch Caitlyn Clark in the All-Star Game. I made accommodations solely to get to Indiana to watch Caitlyn Clark in the All-Star Game. She's injured. I have no interest in that anymore. People are selling their tickets so much so they just want off of them. 121, okay. You want it for 100? Oh no, okay. I guess I gotta lower it to 80. Oh, you don't want to buy it for 80? Okay, I guess I'll lower it to 70. You don't want to buy it to 70? I guess I'll lower it to $64. The WNBA is paying attention to these trends, and they're seeing firsthand what Caitlyn Clark is worth to this league.
The ripple didn't stop at tickets. Merchandise revenue dropped. Concession sales dipped. Hotel reservations were canceled across Indianapolis. Local restaurants prepped for a March Madness-like weekend, stared at empty tables. Caitlyn Clark wasn't just bringing fans, she was bringing an economic surge. Her absence didn't just hurt the event, it sabotaged the entire city's expectations. That's the catch with a once-in-a-generation star. She can elevate everything, but if she's out, the whole machine stalls. No one else in the WNBA can move that kind of needle.
Really unfortunate that Caitlyn Clark missed it. The crowd would have been exploding. The crowd would have been exploding. The arena would have been exploding. Oh man, a big miss as far as the WNBA is concerned.
Let's cut the sugarcoating. This weekend confirmed what everyone suspected. Clark isn't just important, she is the show. A 48% drop in ticket value exposed how much her presence anchors the WNBA. But here's where it got messy. Right as the league's value took a hit, players decided to send a message of their own. During warm-ups, many wore "Pay us what you owe us" shirts. In theory, a bold move. In timing, a disaster. With fans already reeling from watching their investment lose half its value, the protest looked less like empowerment and more like poor judgment. The disconnect was deafening.
I mean, you're going to mess around and a large, massive group of fans are going to be like, enough is enough. We've never had to see anything like it in sports, but you don't see these other leagues going around talking crazy about their fan bases all the time. like this league does. It's continuous. They're running their mouth about the people that are paying money to see them. You don't have other jobs where people walk up. You're in a public job that's in front of the world.
The precise moment the WNBA's product was being questioned, players demanded a bigger piece of the pie. Their causes: higher salaries, better travel, expanded rosters, maternal support are real, but context matters. With CBA negotiations in full swing, the protests looked completely toned off, to fans grappling with the league's sudden deflation. Social media erupted confusion, anger, ironic takes on how the protests coincided with the WNBA's biggest weekend falling apart. Fans felt betrayed, like the players were asking for more, while offering less. And in that perception battle, timing was everything.
A bunch of players and coaches over the last few days have complained without being fine-worthy about officiating. I just want to see about your thoughts on if officiating is an issue and how it can be improved. Because clearly there seems to be problems or disconnect between what players and coaches feel and what officials are actually calling.
There were legitimate frustrations behind the protest. WNBA salaries haven't kept pace with its surging growth, and with a $2.2 billion media rights deal looming in 2026, the players want their share. WNBPA President Nika Ogwimik slammed the league's focus on salary caps instead of equitable revenue splits. But here's the thing, other pro leagues handle this differently. You won't catch the NBA staging protest shirts during All-Star Weekend. The NFL doesn't air labor disputes during the Super Bowl. There's a time and place. This wasn't it, with Clark sidelined, ticket prices tanking, and fans already disillusioned. This protest just poured gasoline on the fire.
I know, as a fan of sports for 60 years now, I know that, no one's ever happy with officiating. All sports deal with it, but we're working hard to make sure we're putting the best product out on the court, and our officiating then follows that.
Protests may have come from a good place, but the execution was a PR disaster. It painted a picture of players demanding raises, while the league's brightest star was injured and the product was bleeding value. Even Caitlin Clark agrees players should be paid more. But she wasn't the one wearing protest shirts mid-celebration. And in the end, none of this changes the big truth. Clark is the foundation of the WNBA's future. When she plays, the league thrives. When she's out, interest collapses. Angel Reese can launch all the shoe campaigns she wants. Hang I'm in your city banners across Indy, but the numbers don't lie. Without Clark, there's no rivalry, no buzz, no surge, just empty noise. And when Clark does return, you can bet the Fever's 2025 championship run will have the entire world watching. Comment Baby Giraffe to roast Reese's latest stunt. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's next.